In this short video, we're going to introduce the statistical test known as chi-square. Chi-square differs from the other tests that we've done in that we are no longer going to be talking about the behavior of means and trying to predict values for means or try to model based on means. Now, quick review of what we've already done. A one-sample t-test, which tests a null hypothesis about a single mean, is a given mean equal to a certain value. Does the average person have 99 problems? One sample t-test. We talk about a two-sample t-test. The two-sample t-test was conceptualized as I have a group of people here, let's call them men, and I have a group of people here, let's call them women, and I want to see if the mean of anything differs between the men and the women. This is a two-sample t-test. We talked for all these tests about the assumptions, things that need to be met in order for the test to work. And one of the assumptions of an independent samples t-test, it's very creatively named, is that the samples are independent of each other. We have a sample of men here, and we have a sample of women here. And we might say, on the average, how many lentils do men and women eat each year? Now, if we could change the design of that study, we could say, you know what, if instead of going out and getting a bunch of men and then getting a bunch of women, it might be more efficient, it might be more fun to actually go out and get a bunch of married heterosexual couples in which each man is paired with each woman. And then you can look to see how their lentil consumptions differ. It's interesting in that how many lentils you eat is probably related to how many lentils your spouse eats. Why? Well, you share a kitchen, you share a fridge, you might share shopping duties, you probably have the same taste in food. Hopefully, if you are married with someone, you have some similarities with them. So when we designed this study, we said we could pair those up. Now, going back to the independent sample t-test, we said, what if you wanted to compare more than two means? Say that I had three hospitals, A, B, and C, and I wanted to compare the mean of some value. This is what we called as ANOVA. We said ANOVA is kind of a generalization of a t-test where you have more than two levels. We also talked about the idea of continuous predictor variables, where you have some X variable or some independent or some input, and then you have some Y variable, an output or a dependent variable. And it's called linear regression because we draw a line through it and we talk about the behavior of that line. And we actually saw that a linear regression, if you only had two groups of people, say these people were old and these people were the other way, old and young, a t-test is a type of linear regression. And then finally, we looked at multiple linear regression under all its various names. And we said that an ANOVA and a t-test are all types of regression. And in the multiple linear regression, we learned the very important fact that you can control for the effect of other variables when you do a model that has more than one predictor. Now, all this stuff that we've done and how they're related to each other, all of these skills that you've learned so far in this course have something in common. They talk about the behavior of means. And we're going to talk now about what if we have two variables and they're both categorical. This is a test that is known as the chi-square test, this Greek letter here. Suppose you want to see is there a relationship between where you were born and do you have a peanut allergy or not? This is a research project that we did when I was a student at Tufts. We had a binary variable. Which country were you born in, US or not US, right? Two-level binary variable, categorical. And then do you have a peanut allergy, yes or no? Peanut allergy is a binary variable. But Tibor, I have a really, really bad peanut allergy. And so, okay, I'm talking about peanut allergy, yes, no. I'm not talking about severity of peanut allergy. That might be a continuous or some measurable variable. I'm just talking about two binary variables. So here's a research question. Ends with the question mark, starts with the word is. Is there a relationship between a person's country of birth and whether they have a peanut allergy or not? Can we do any of the tests we've done? No, because we're not talking about means. We're talking about categorical variables. So I want you to take a second here and think about, can you come up with a research question? Something that starts with does and ends with a question mark, or is, or do. Come up with a research question that has two variables and both of them are categorical. And we'll look at an example of this in the next video.